Hi friends, Evolving Guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for following along with our collection journey. So today I am opening my invisible Prismatic Evolution Super Premium Collection. Can you see it? Actually, the reason that it's invisible is we didn't get one on release day. I was not able to secure one. So this video is going to be a little bit of a rant about my experience trying to get one of those. And because I didn't want you just to stare at my playmat, my empty playmat, I do have some packs that I'm going to work through. These are the kinds of packs that collectors like myself can sometimes secure. So unfortunately not the SPC. So anyway, did you have luck is my first question. Let me know in the comments. I don't know. I saw Danny Phantom. If you know him, he's a YouTube content creator who I like a lot. And he posted a kind of an informal poll on Twitter asking, how are you going to get the SPC? His first option, option A, was you're going to wait in line for 12 hours at a GameStop. Option B was you're going to pay market price, which is about $250. Or option C, you're just going to like throw up your hands and realize like this product is not going to be for you. You're just not going to get one. And, you know, I am sort of was expecting it to be C. And I would say actually I'd add maybe a D or maybe I'd add an A and put it at first is I think another option is to get lucky on one of the online drops. There have been drops online at different stores. So I'm going to walk through each of these options and then talk about the fact that we don't have one, and we're just going to have to try not to have FOMO and just try to sit tight, and you know, maybe it'll materialize and maybe it won't. I will say at the front that this product, I mean, it's a great product if you could get it for market price. I mean, anything that has 15 Prismatic Evolutions packs for 90 bucks is like an amazing deal. And then I'm actually less interested. It has a playmat. It has a Eevee fuzzy pouch thingamajig that I'm not really interested in those things. The other thing I'm kind of interested in is, and actually the only thing I'm like totally interested in this, oh, there we go, is I was interested in the promo card because I collect Black Star promos. As you know, I showed my promo binder the other day. So I would like that promo card. And so really, I mean, for me, I'm just going to wait. And, you know, those promos are probably not, I don't know. I don't know what the price on the promo is going to be. It'll come down over time. And then when it's reasonably priced, I will pick it up on the secondary market. But I was hoping if I could get one of these products for 90 bucks, and then I could also like have the packs and get the promo. And then, you know, I would probably move forward like the other stuff I don't want. But we could not get one. So as far as the online drops, like option A, I mean, you know, these days, I used to be, I'm not like super tech savvy, but I'm pretty good. I have a job where I'm sometimes at my desk, sometimes at a computer. And, you know, in the before times, I would just have a tab open on a few sites and I would just keep track of things and I would be able to pick stuff up when, you know, it dropped. And now because there's like, you know, it's a whole arms race of its own is to getting this stuff online. There's Twitter handles. There's dozens of Twitter handles you can follow. There's dozens of Discords, maybe even like hundreds of Discords you can be part of, and even some that you can pay to be part of. I'm like opposed to that in principle. And so, you know, you can do that. And then, you know, so now when something drops, there's like, you know, dozens or hundreds or even like, you know, more people like alerting their hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of followers. And so, you know, things disappear really quickly. Occasionally, if your timing is right, you get lucky. And now Pokemon Center has its own queue and there's like a whole science to doing that. And so it's just really difficult to sort of, even if you're savvy, and I feel like, again, I'm sort of an average card collector in some respects. Like I'm not super tech savvy. I can't sit on my phone or my computer all day long waiting for these drops. And, you know, in some ways, I think it's a good service that these folks are providing, I suppose. But, you know, it's just like an arms race. So I think, you know, option A, you know, you can try your, you know, you don't have much control over that. I mean, the more time you want to spend like glued to your phone or your laptop, you know, I guess more power to you if you have a job that allows that. But that did not work for us. We did not get lucky on any of the drops. I mean, there have been a few out there. And so that's option one. That was a big X mark. And so option two is to wait in line. And there's just no way I'm going to do that. I don't know, kind of in principle, like if you have the time and you want to put, you know, I don't necessarily, you know, the caricature, hey, nice, what a nice hit. There we go. The caricature of people like waiting in line for hours or even days is, you know, of being unemployed or like, you know, I don't know. They might have flexible jobs. If they want to spend their time doing that, I'm not going to assume the worst of them. And even the fact, you know, if they're scalpers, I don't know, my time is worth something. I don't have with a family and with a job. I don't have necessarily the flexibility. But even if I did, I don't know, that's not my, you know, my money, my time is also worth something. So I don't know. I'm just not doing it that way. And even then, you're not necessarily guaranteed. It's increasingly, it used to be you could just walk into a GameStop like the day of release of something in the afternoon and just find something, no big deal. But now in this day where GameStop's not doing pre-orders and these highly coveted things, it really is a kind of, I mean, in the pandemic, I remember a little bit of, there was kind of a situation where it's like some of the celebrations, 25th anniversary stuff, you might have to wait in line a little bit there. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Like in my local game store, my local GameStop, I asked them, they said someone was there at 5:30 in the morning, not necessarily for this drop, but the most recent Prismatic drop, the one before this one, someone was there at 5:30 in the morning. And, I'm not going to go, sit outside at 5:30 in the morning to get this $90 product. So I don't know if that works for you. And then also, like, there are online drops, like some of my local game stores. Some of them do pre-orders and some of them don't. The ones that do pre-orders, they go just as fast as some of the online drops, and I have no way to really know. There's no Discord that's going to tell me when my local game store has a pre-order go up. So, you're going to miss those as well. So you just have to time it right. They have pretty small allocations, and, you're just not going to get lucky. So, option one, to time the online order pre-orders, did not work for me. Option two, I'm not going to go wait in some long line at some store. So then that leaves, I guess my one wrinkle on that is I have a local game store that I knew would get a good allocation. They don't do pre-orders, but they did post on their Instagram. They said, hey, and they have this interesting, I think this good model where they're going to offer, if you want them to rip it for you, you can pay $90 for this product. And that's with other products too. You can pay MSRP if they rip it in front of you, not necessarily every pack, but if they unseal it for you, then they'll let you walk out of the store with it for MSRP. Otherwise, if you want to take it sealed, you have to pay market price. And I just couldn't get away until early afternoon for this particular release. I got to this game store at 1:30 in the afternoon. They had 12 cases of this product. They had 48 super premium collections, and they were gone by about 10:30. So there was a line, he said, outside once he got to the store. He let the line in a little bit early, and he processed the line, and he had a handful of super premium collections left after everyone in line got theirs. He limited it to one per household, not just one per customer, because, people who bring their girlfriends and then they grab two, or they bring their kids and they grab three. Like, he's one per household, which I appreciate. And so he was able to service like everybody in the line, and then a handful of walk-in folks who came pretty early after the store opened. And unfortunately, I was 3.5 hours later, and there was no way I was going to be getting one. And so I like how he does it, but it's still just frustrating that, like, unless you're there basically at open, you're not going to get something. And some people, again, it's a Friday afternoon, or it's a Friday morning. So people have jobs, they have families, they just have ways, things that they can't get away. And, in my case, I just couldn't, get there until early afternoon. And so it's frustrating to not be able to get one of these things. So that was strike. So strike one is the online pre-order. Strike two is I'm not going to wait in line at some GameStop or LGS. Then option three is like, are you going to pay $250 for this thing on the secondary market? And it is just really frustrating. This guy actually told me, so he sold 48 in about half an hour. He sold 48 SPCs. But he did say that every single one, all 48 that he sold, people ripped it. People said, I'll pay $90, rip it in front of me. So I think his idea is that he's hopefully discouraging scalpers from even showing up, because you're not going to show up. You're not going to pay $250 because you can't turn around and resell it. But of course, if you can get it for MSRP at other stores or a lower price at other stores, in one sense, it's encouraging that at least the scalpers were not at his store. So that's a good sign. He has a good policy or good practice that keeps scalpers away. Yeah, a lot of stores, of course, like big box stores aren't going to, do it that way. And maybe other LGSs aren't going to do it that way. They might charge closer to market price. I don't know. I know some of them might try to charge closer to MSRP or maybe just a little bit over MSRP. But, if you're selling, and that's just going to encourage, it's tricky. It's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because if you sell it at MSRP, then people can turn around and scalp it. And if you sell it at market price, then it's just out of reach for people. And, do I want to pay $90 for this? Do I want to pay $100 for this? Sure. Do I want to pay $250 for this? No, even just based on the contents. I'm not going to keep it sealed. I want to open it. And then it's just not a very good value proposition. And so I'm kind of priced out of it. And it was frustrating. I was standing there at the game store talking to the owner about, just how his experience selling these. And and literally in that moment, I just brought out my phone. I looked on Facebook Marketplace, and their SPCs were popping up in our local area for $250 and $300. And so, he said, like, if someone's going to sell it for $250, it's going to be me, which I can appreciate his point. And so yeah, I think, at this point, I'm not going to pay $250. I would love to pay MSRP for this product. Again, I know Pokemon is aware of this, and they know about the frustration. But yeah, it's just frustrating that, like, I don't know. I mean, you can tell me, like, you want someone to blame, right? I want to blame Pokemon Company for not printing enough. If you just printed up 5 million of these things, then maybe this wouldn't be such a problem. But I don't know how many they printed. I don't know what allocations were. I know another local game store didn't get any. So, that's a trick. And then if it's a local game store, they're going to charge, market price or closer to market price. Many more are doing that, which I sort of get, especially if distribution is charging them more. But that's also frustrating because, like, as a consumer. So anyway, I want to blame Pokemon. I want to blame local game stores. Last pack, I want to blame, scalpers. And there are some scalpers out there, but I actually, if I'm being fair, like, I bet most people who are buying this are either, sealed collectors who want to keep it in their sealed collection, which I have a sealed collection, so I can't throw stones at that, or they're people who want to rip it, and I can respect that, of course. So, I don't know. It's frustrating. I want to blame scalpers. I want to blame people who can show up at 10 o'clock on a Friday